Hello, we'd like to talk today about the 63 FLDK duplex filter assembly. The filter assembly comes with two mounting options. One is a rear wall mounting option, the second is a foot mounting option. The mounting option is the same for all sizes. On the label we can see the type code, the R number, the QR code, and also we have the maximum pressure and maximum flow. There is also a little drawing to show you the lifting arrangement and also which is the operational side by the lever. Also on the filter we have two measuring points. These can be used for taking oil samples or flow or pressure readings. There is also an electrical indicator fitted. As you can see, the green light indicates the indicator is operational, and we have a 75% position and a 100% position for blockage. We also have an optional balancing line for the filter assembly, together with a drain plug on the clean side and a drain plug on the dirty side with a magnetic plug. The minimus test points on the top are for relieving the pressure in the bowl when changing the elements. This filter has the new cyclone effect, where the oil flow enters the filter assembly in a spiral effect. This gives a better clean pressure drop and also helps with filtration. After first installation, we have to make sure that we remove the air from both sides of the duplex housing. To do this, we have to vent the air from the working side. The lever identifies which is the working side. We take the mesh connector off and fit the pipe. So now we are letting air out of the system, and as it fills up with oil, when we have oil coming out of the pipe, the left side is complete. We can now go over to the right side, do the same thing, and when we put the mesh connector on, we can vent air out again till the bowl fills up with oil, till it comes out of the pipe, and then we can push the lever fully over to the right hand side and remove the mini mesh connector. The filter is now ready for operation. So, as we can see, the lever position is in the left side, so this is the working side of the filter housing. The element is now blocked. As we can see, the red light is on the indicator showing 100% blocked. So we turn the lever over to the opposite side, and now we have to vent the pressure and release the flow of oil in this left hand side. To release the pressure, we can put on the minimus test hose. And then also we have to relieve this side of the housing from the oil by opening the drain plug to allow all the oil flow into the drain. When we have drained all the oil out, we can now remove the element from the left side of the housing. So, gently lift the cap off and take the dirty element from the housing. Then we have to put the new element in. On the new element we have a sticker which shows a QR code, the R number and the description of the element. We also have a position to put a date. So when we change the element, we can write on the date the element was changed, and this sticker can be placed on the housing. So when we change the next time, we know when the element was changed. We also have to check that we have the correct R number and the description of the element to go with the filter housing. Replace the element. Then we can also check the O-ring on the housing cap to make sure it's in a good condition. Replace the cap. So now we have to fill this side up with oil. So we vent out the air on this side and we crack the lever into the central position for a few seconds till we see oil out of the mini-mesh connector. When oil is coming out, we close the valve again and release and put on the mini-mesh cap. Now the filter is ready for operation. So now we're going to talk about the duplex filter from the competition and a few points that are different from the Bosch Rexroth product. First thing I'd like to point out that our indicator is a modular design and therefore is easy to replace and no technical expertise necessary. Also here we have the indicator is taken off from a block with two pipes with 4 fittings which are all potential leak paths for the indicator. On the side we have a very small label, but the label is extremely sharp and potentially you can catch your hand and damage yourself. Also on the back for the direction or operation of the lever there is also another very small aluminium plate with very sharp edges. One point I'd like to point out that on the back side here we have two mounting points. Normally then this is bolted to a plate of some sort or on the back of on the system. The plate will be very close to the housings. So we need to replace the element. We first have to vent the filter, but first we then have to move the lever into the left side so that the fluid is now going through the left-hand filter. We are going to change the right side element. So we have to remove the cap. One issue I have with the cap is when we take the cap to the last thread, we have no control with the cap from the pressure from in the filter. If you notice in the Bosch Rexroth design, we have a little cutaway in the thread, 2 or 3 threads down from the end, so you're always in control and you can release the pressure through this cutaway. So once we have the pressure released, we can now remove the cap to replace the element. So again we have to undo 4 screws. There's 4 screws get placed anywhere on the machine. Very easy or potentially to drop the screws into the tank or the floor and lose them. So we remove the 4 screws and we have to now to remove the cap. This is not so easy to remove, so we need other tools to lift the cap, and at this point you always have the opportunity to damage the O-ring in the cap when trying to lever off the cap. There's always possibility to catch the O-ring in the head. So now we have to take the element out. And replace it with the new element. So we have a new element. Inside the element we have a label. So on the label we have the R number, then we have the description of the element that's going inside, the QR code which will take you to the Bosch Rexroth site, and also we have a date so we can actually put the sticker on the assembly and make a note of the date when it was last changed. So we put the element back in the housing. We have to carefully replace the element, but as you can see now the screws are too small, so we need another tool. So we have to hang the cap down and replace the 4 screws. Now, under normal practice, we have to fill up the side of the assembly by taking out the air. Once again, we have no control. The oil has to come up to replace it, and then oil is all over the top of the cap. Likewise, when we had to empty the filter, this is the empty port, which is on the side of the assembly, not the bottom. And also here we have no control on where the oil flow is going when we remove the cap.